In Fortnite Battle Royale, we have tons of clever and useful ways of moving around the map. Whether that's using unique items like launch pads or hopping in vehicles like quad crashers. Something that has been in question for quite a while is the addition of new and different kinds of vehicles. As while these methods of transportation are obviously fun, with the rise of other battle royales like Call of Duty's Blackout, we as a community have seen how much more different kinds of vehicles can impact the game and really make the experience much more interesting. For example, how Blackout has vehicles like boats or airplanes. Fortnite currently only has 3 actual vehicles in the game as of now, and the community as a whole just wants some more. Especially with the kind of creativity that Epic Games has consistently shown in their game. With all of that in mind, on today's list, we are going to be going over the top 5 vehicles that we would like to see and that would change Fortnite Battle Royale. As always, before we get started today, if you like this video and want to see more Fortnite and gaming content, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, and ring that little bell. We always love to see new ideas and opinions, so if you have one, leave a comment. They are always read and always appreciated. For the most part. With all of that out of the way, let's get into today's video.
Number 5.
Diving into the number 5 spot on the top 5 vehicles that would change Fortnite, we have the addition of boats. Now, as Epic Games usually is, this is something they could get creative with. Whether that means that these will be like speedboats or bigger ones that have weapons. If Epic were to add in water vehicles as speedboats or jet skis, then the main purpose would just be to get players over the water faster with a little less hassle. And trust me, it's a hassle. They would be good for an area like Loot Lake. They could also be useful for rivers that run through the map. Especially with the rivers, they could be used as a speedy and alternate form of transportation throughout the map. Epic could even add in a few docks along the rivers that would have 1 or 2 of these. Speedboats are obviously smaller, so maybe they're only able to add 2 players at once. The other version of a boat that I could see happening would be a bigger pontoon boat, one that as many players as possible can board and fire from. This vehicle would be more like something that chills out and around Loot Lake, in which players can use it to efficiently get to all areas of the lake, sort of setting claim to it. This would change Fortnite in that it adds a more effective way to get around Loot Lake, and it also offers more of a strategic advantage to setting up shop there. It is important to consider what Epic has built in terms of the map. If they wanted to make boats prevalent, they would need some more water throughout the map, and they would need to consider making it a little deeper than a foot. Boats work well in other games like Blackout because there are clear waterways and usable ocean throughout the map, not just one lake, a few rivers that are about as deep as puddles, and a bunch of deadly ocean.
Number 4.
Revving into the number 4 spot on today's list, we have the Dirtbike. The Dirtbike is something that would be set as the fastest vehicle in the game, starting off fast and constantly increasing speed if the player continuously holds down whatever button is assigned to the gas. It would even be cool to imagine a little fire trail after hitting a certain speed to really give it that Daredevil kind of vibe. Dirt bikes would serve maybe more as solo vehicles, as they can only hold 1 player at a time, but obviously could still be used in other situations. As for how they would change the game, I think that they could really give an advantage to players when they aren't surrounded by teammates. Whether that means that they could serve as distractions to catch the eye of an enemy team or as a quick escape. They would most definitely speed up the pace of the game, as the storm wouldn't be much of a concern if you're speeding around on a dirt bike, and just getting to other players would happen much faster. This bike is balanced out by the fact that it can only carry 1 player, and it's not like the driver can shoot or use anything else. So the only thing that the driver will be doing is driving. The dirt bike is a vehicle that would pair well with the Burnout skin, awesome tricks, and the game of Fortnite.
Number 3.
Going from a vehicle mainly used for solos, at number 3 on this list we now have a vehicle that would mainly be used for squads, the Armored Van. The Armored Van is a sort of tanky van/truck that's completely enclosed and can hold an entire squad inside of it. The biggest purpose of this vehicle would be something that can take your entire team safely to the destination, but players in the van can only use healing items. These squad cars would have health anywhere from 500 to 700 hit points, as they obviously do need to be destroyable, not just invincible tanks that
Storm the battlefield, crushing all opponents beneath their feet.
Oh, sorry, I got a little carried away there, but you get the point. In terms of how they would change the game, it would again accomplish almost the opposite of the dirt bike by slowing the game down a little bit. as there would be new situations where, rather than challenging an opposing team, your squad stays back inside the armored van. This would obviously create some controversy throughout the player base, especially because higher skilled players are usually against changes to the game that encourage a more conservative playstyle. But Epic has shown in the past their unwillingness to budge just based on louder opinions. Even so, this vehicle can also be used as a tank to charge into enemy structures, eating a few bullets along the way, so it isn't necessarily married to a runaway type of usage. This armored van would just bring a new way to play the game and a safer way to navigate the map. Would it be annoying? Sure, a little bit, a lot of it.
Number 2.
Soaring into the number 2 spot, we have helicopters. Helicopters would be 4-man vehicles that, well, fly. What else did you expect from a helicopter? With a pilot seat, passenger seat, and then 2 open doors on the sides for players to shoot out of, helicopters would perhaps make the biggest impact on how Fortnite is played today. A lot of the game right now is about height advantage, and to have a vehicle that hands it to you on a silver platter is game-changing in that most players would have to completely change their playstyle from just building over opposing enemies to getting creative and building and firing more defensively than anything else. I'm sure one could try and build over a helicopter, they just would not have too much luck with it, especially since enemies in the helicopter can just shoot down whatever you've created. It is most certainly harder for anyone in the helicopter to aim and hit accurate shots, but builds aren't hard to miss and everyone gets a few lucky bullets, so anything thin is not going to cut against a helicopter. This may cause players to start building more of an actual reinforced base rather than just staircases. I could see these helicopters taking contact damage and having a low amount of hit points, so it's not like they will be anything impossible to conquer, just a new challenge from the skies.
Honorable mention.
A lot of times, honorable mentions can clear the air on why certain groups didn't make the list. And that is sort of going to be covered today with the tank falling into the honorable mention spot. Tanks are going to place here because if Epic wanted to make them anything like actual tanks, then they would just be way too overpowered for the Fortnite that we have right now. Super armored vehicles that have massive guns that are notorious for high amounts of damage? Yeah, no thanks, that is not something that we really need in this game. Fortnite is a little bit more about finesse and skill, not just brute force and an impenetrable monster. So would tanks be cool? Yes, but it's more that they would probably be broken and don't realistically have a chance of getting into the game, unlike all the other vehicles listed which do. Unless the entire player base agrees that they want some pathetic tanks, these bad boys are probably out for now.
Number 1.
We finally reached it. Rolling into the number 1 spot on today's top 5, we have the train. Now, it's up to Epic to come up with a creative name for this thing, but basically it has a set track that runs through the map, and the actual train is full of good loot, and it can quickly get players around the map. There can be set stations for getting on and off, where otherwise you would take damage getting off while it's in motion, or straight up die if you happen to get hit by it. This train would make so many awesome moments where teams of players are fighting aboard this train as it's flying around the map, attracting the attention of all others around it. This makes a moving battleground that teams will actually want to go and claim, as it's like having a base on wheels. A new point of interest is always fun, and if you found yourself stuck in the storm, there's a chance that luck will be on your side and the train will give you a ride out of there. This is something that would fit really well into the game, and allow players to really feel like they are in an actual battle royale. I don't know why a train would necessarily make you feel like that, but it's fun. Trains are fun. And that's going to be all for this video, but if you like this one, make sure you like and subscribe. We are always making tons of gaming videos, so look around. There might be something you might enjoy. Also, if you want to be the first viewer on every video, make sure you tap that little bell so you can get instant notifications when one goes up, and you'll be able to stay up to date on what's what. Thanks, and see you on the next video.